I thought you had completed your mission, but you're still running around here with the same little critter.
So it's been about a week since Mandalorian Season 3 aired, and if you watched the first episode and you kind of felt like, that was weird, let me tell you, you weren't alone. I felt the same thing, and I kind of want to talk about why that is. And it's not a bad weird necessarily, it's just weird. So about a month ago, I made a video talking about why Andor is the best Star Wars show, and like my favorite and all the things, and a lot of people tended to agree. And that generally is the consensus on Andor. So I think one of the main reasons Mandalorian just kind of feels weird right now is coming from Andor back to the Mandalorian. It's just weird. Like, the Mandalorian's not bad. I love the first 2 seasons, and the episode 1 of season 3 I thought was actually pretty good for the Mandalorian. But if you compare it to something like Andor, it wasn't great. The quality of the show is fine, like it's good, but the direction of the show and where things are going and the dialogue in particular, it just doesn't feel the same on any level. It feels like a step back, not only from Andor, but honestly a step kind of back from Mando season 2. It kind of feels like season 1 in terms of that week to week bounty hunter vibe. And Andor was phenomenal in its writing and its art direction and its story direction and in every aspect. And then we have Mandalorian, which historically has not been this big overarching story. Even season 1 was really just week to week monster of the week or side quest of the week kind of content, which again, it's not bad, it's just a different storytelling, which I think works for the Mandalorian. But what I don't think works is season 3 as a whole, which is weird to say when episode 1 is out, but let me explain. The ending of season 2 of Mandalorian I thought was perfect to just end the show. That whole arc from season 1 to 2 was complete. That could have been it. It would have been done. I would have been happy, and I remember sitting and watching the finale as the credits roll and being like, wow, what a great ending for this show. Because the whole point of Mandalorian season 1 and 2 is he finds Grogu in episode 1, and then the whole season 1 is just kind of getting him from place to place, protecting him, and all of season 2 really trying to find a Jedi, which he does, and sends him off, and they've formed their bond, they formed their connection, Mandalorian has changed, and then he goes back to bounty hunting, like end of story. I thought, like, that's a really perfect wrap up for the storytelling, like structure, if you're familiar with that, like, which Star Wars is based on a lot of the traditional hero's journey. Someone interacts with something and they're taken out of their comfort zone. They come back changed from whatever it was. In this case, Grogu with the Mandalorian. So when I heard season 3 was happening, I was like, okay, what are we going to be doing? And then after the 2 Boba Fett kind of Mandalorian interlude episodes, I was like, okay, what are we doing? Because the whole payoff of Grogu going away with Luke was just pretty quickly reversed, and I just think that was kind of lazy, because they're like, man, Mandalorian's really good, we got to get Grogu back with Din. So I was pretty cautious going into Mandalorian season 3, because I'm like, okay, what is the direction? I guess Din is trying to take back Mandalore or whatever. So after episode 1, yeah, that just seems to be the case. It's just going to be kind of, again, monster of the week, side quest of the week. He's trying to like restore IG-11 right now, which again is weird. IG-11 had a great, perfect death and sacrifice and fulfilled his role, fulfilled his purpose. He doesn't need to be back. Like, it'd be cool, but we just don't need it. Like, it just is not necessary for the story at all. And so I'm still cautiously optimistic about season 3, because I like The Mandalorian. As I've said, I liked the first episode. It was another Mandalorian episode. I mean, I love Grogu, obviously. We love Din Djarin, dope character. We get to see him doing cool things, taking down another big space creature, which is cool. I mean, in my opinion, some people were complaining about that. I don't really care, man. It's cool. It's Star Wars. But again, I am very wary of where we're going with this story, particularly because in a recent interview, Jon Favreau, who has headed up Mandalorian with Dave Filoni, actually said that there's not an ending in mind, which kind of red flags. When asked about the fourth season and if the fourth season would be the last one for The Mandalorian, this is what he says. He said, "No, I don't have an ending in mind. I think the beauty of this is that it's a middle chapter of a much larger story." And then he talks about how they'll have a resolution over time with these characters and how they fit into the larger scale and scope of Star Wars. There's not a set finale that they're building to, which in a seasonal storytelling format can sometimes work, but you need a finale. Like, it just can't go on forever. It's going to feel aimless, and I'm really worried about that. Maybe not in season 3, but going forward, certainly. And he ends by saying, "And so these characters could potentially be with us for a while, and I really love telling stories in their voice, and I love the way adventures unfold, and I'm looking forward to doing much more." So if there's no direction for a finale, I don't really understand how there's going to be direction from season to season or even episode to episode, which explains why this episode was good, but it felt weird. Mandalorian was doing things. He went to say hey to the other Mandalorians and the lady that I can't remember her name. And then he went to see his boy, Grief Karga, and then he's going to try to revive IG-11, but then he goes to see Bo-Katan. It just felt like kind of, again, side quest of the week kind of episode, like going from one thing to another with no real purpose, which seems to be what they're trying to do. And if that is the case, hey, that is what this is achieving. And if Mandalorian just becomes something where we see Din and Grogu doing their thing, introducing side characters and reintroducing characters that go and spin off on their own shows, which is kind of what they did with season 2. I mean, that's fine, I guess, but I don't know. I just think it would benefit the show so much more if there's an actual finale planned, and if there was this one thing you're building to, because without that, there really can't be much of an overarching story that the viewer can invest in, which could really damage the show in the long run. But, we will see. Like I said, I'm hopeful because season 1 and season 2 were good, and we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose, what happens with the rest of season 3. By the time this video is up, episode 2 will be out, so I'll watch that. We'll see how it goes. And until then, I'm just going to be waiting for Andor season 2, basically. Andor is so good. Ugh, I miss it so much. But those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on why Andor feels weird. Let me know if you guys felt the same, if you have the same thoughts, or if you have different thoughts on the show. Let me know, whatever, and we can have a nice discussion in the comments down below. But in the meantime, that'll be all for this video. Hope you have a wonderful day, and this is the way.